What's up, Learn to Love You community? My name is Laura. Welcome back to another episode this week. And in today's video, we're going to be learning about how we can learn to love our lives as they currently are right now, learning to love where we currently are at on our journeys, as well as learn to love the versions of ourselves that we are right now. Because I know a lot of people struggle with this. We're always in a rush to get to the next chapter, a rush to become the next versions of ourselves, and we never just stop to take a moment to just pause and reflect and to enjoy where we currently are on the journey. And this leads to a lot of problems, and we can't accept ourselves for where we're at. So if you want to learn how to accept yourself right where you are today, then you are in the right place. Are you ready to get started? Let's go. Hello, and welcome to Learn to Love You, a channel and a community where I want to help you to learn to love yourself, because learning how to do so has changed my life. In the past 15 years or so, the self-improvement movement has blown up just like a volcano. Literally everything is about self-improvement these days. Improve this to get more chicks. Improve this to get more guys. Improve this to get that perfect body. And if you are a self-improvement girly like me, or a self-improvement guy, then you've most likely read several books on self-improvement, been all over the self-improvement YouTube spectrum, and listened to hours and hours of different podcasts. Am I right? But after a good year and a half of overindulging on self-improvement content, in the past 9 months or so, I would say that I've kind of fallen off of the self-improvement wave. And there are a number of reasons that I'm going to get into as to why. And now I'm realizing that self-improvement just isn't for me as much as it used to be. I mean, of course, I'm always trying to improve myself and always trying to better who I am. But indulging on self-improvement all the time, 24/7, definitely does something to you. For one, it would always make me feel like there was an unattainable goalpost. I would develop a new skill, develop a new trait, learn something new, but then I would always feel like it just wasn't enough. And I never really knew where to stop. And since there was no clear limit or stopping point, I felt like I just didn't have direction. I didn't know where I was going with it. Like, how many more skills do I need in order to be this person that I want to be? Next, I also had this false belief that I thought that self-improvement was going to make all my problems magically disappear. But did they all disappear? They're still here. I had this belief that the more I read, the more videos I watched, the more podcasts I listened to, the more content I consumed, was the more that I would just have a better life, and that all my problems would magically vanish because I would improve myself. And I thought that self-improvement was going to be the cure, when in reality it was just only supposed to be used as a tool. And this would always make me feel frustrated when my problems would come back up, because I was like, I thought self-improvement was supposed to solve all these things. Why aren't my problems going away? But now I realize that self-improvement was only meant to be used as a stepping stone, but not the ultimate cure that's going to fix everything in your entire life. And lastly, it put this belief in my mind that the person who I was someone who just couldn't be loved or valued or accepted unless I changed myself entirely. That the version of myself who I am today was not worthy of love, was not worthy of respect, was not worthy of friends or a partner or to be accepted by society unless I were to change myself. And it just put this belief in my head that I was just inherently flawed, and there was no way that I could be loved unless I were to change everything about me. This is the problem with a lot of self-help, because it preaches that you cannot be loved or accepted or valued in the society unless you change everything about yourself, unless you become more societally acceptable. And now there's nothing wrong with trying to improve yourself. Nothing. I believe that we should all be striving to improve ourselves a little bit more each and every single day and become better people. The problem comes when we start to use self-improvement as a metric of our worth and our value. And if you're not using it in a constructive way, then it becomes more of a vice than a tool, and that's when it becomes self-destructive. And self-improvement might talk a whole lot about how you can improve your mindset, your skills, your external reality, and your social acceptance, but it fails to really talk about how you can learn to embrace who you are currently and to love the current version of yourself and how to accept who you are as an individual. And it rarely, if ever, talks about how you can have a better relationship with yourself. But on this channel, this is what we're here to focus on. So how can I accept where I am in life, especially if things are just not the best or the most ideal? I feel like the first thing you got to realize is that it's okay to want change. It's okay to want your life to be different. It's okay to not keep wanting to live in the same way that you've always been living. And wanting change is normal, and it doesn't make you an ungrateful person either. So get that out of your head and realize that the only way that we could ever propel our lives forward is through change. And the only way to keep life moving, to keep evolution flowing, is through change. So realize that it's okay to want change in your life. It's okay to desire things to be different. And it doesn't make you an ingrate for wanting that. And acceptance doesn't necessarily mean that you like what is going on in your life. It just means that you've grown to a place where you're no longer resisting what is happening in your life. And you're okay with what's happening because you know things are going to change. Next, I want you to understand that although things might not be the best or the most ideal, or they're pretty hard right now, there's always something that you can take away from this phase of your life. Hard times are actually the times that hold the most energetic potency, meaning that these are the times that hold the most potential for your growth and for your expansion. I want you to know that this is only a fraction of the journey that you're meant to go on in this life. And even if things might not make total sense right now, I promise that there's always something that you can take away and learn from this. Even if the lessons aren't available right now, they will be available in time. Currently, I'm in a phase in my life where I'm just eager to get to the next phase. I'm eager to get to the next location. I'm eager to get to the next steps and see how everything unfolds in my life. But life is not a race, and I have to be patient and learn to take things one step at a time and realize that there is no rush to get to the next phase, but there's so much to be learned in this phase. And sometimes it makes me frustrated because it feels like nothing's changing, like nothing's progressing as fast as I want it to. But now I'm realizing that sometimes things are just going to look the same in your life for a long time before they change, because there's so many lessons that you need to learn from this phase of your experience before progressing on to the next one. And the thing is, you're not stuck and your life is not stuck. And even if things don't feel like they're moving at all, they are always moving, even if it's just at a turtle's pace. And when things are moving at a turtle's pace, that also means that you're meant to learn at a turtle's pace. That means that you're meant to slow down, stop things, and actually pause and reflect on this period of your life and see the beauty within it, see the lessons that are meant to be learned from it, and inquire that into your future endeavors. And I've really had to learn how to trust in the divine timing of everything and realize that everything is unfolding just as it's meant to unfold, and there's nothing that I need to worry about. And I realized that I can't force life into a different shape, but I just have to allow it to naturally form and change over time. And one more way that you can gain acceptance with where you are in life is to learn how to make this phase of your life the most enjoyable as you can make it. Whenever we're going through a phase of our lives that are just not the most ideal or enjoyable, we tend to only focus on the negative aspects of our lives. And we think that we just couldn't possibly be happy or enjoy the time of our lives if things aren't going exactly how we want them to. But when we do this, we actually rob ourselves of the rich experience of the present moment. And we don't see that we can actually find enjoyment right here and right now. One book that I highly recommend is The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. In the book, he talks about how people believe that salvation and happiness are only available to them in the future. We work our butts off for 50 whole years because we believe that one day in the future, we're going to be rich. We cling to the outcome of every single action that we take because we believe that one day in the future, the results of our actions are going to bring us happiness. We desperately try to find a romantic partner because we believe that one day in the future, when we're no longer single, that we'll finally be loved. But what we fail to realize is that love exists today. Happiness exists today. And peace also exists today. We have this belief that we can't possibly find joy until we get to this future outcome. But what if that future never comes? It's not guaranteed to come. That means that you're just going to be on this constant chase after the future for the rest of your life, and it's never going to be ending. And what you don't realize is that one day the supposed future is going to become the present. And if you're always chasing after the future and not enjoying the present, then you're going to be chasing after something for the rest of your life that you're never going to catch. But I love this book because Tolle talks about how we can find enjoyment, peace, and salvation right here and now. And we don't have to wait until an imaginary future to get that. It's available to us right here and now. And it's just up to you if you want to tap into it. It's up to you if you want to stay stuck being miserable, believing that you can only have happiness at a future time, or if you want to see how you can start making your life better right here today. And the book explains how to do that, so I recommend you read this book. Lastly, I want to talk about how you can accept the version of yourself that you are right now. Think of who you were 2 years ago. You might have the same name as that version of yourself, but would you say that you're the exact same person down to a T? Probably not. No matter your age, your body has undergone changes, even if you can't see them or feel them. You might have new ideas or beliefs. You might have new skills or interests. And we as people are always in a state of constant change. And I guess if you don't like yourself very much, that could be a plus. However, although you might want to be different, you have to ask yourself if it's for the right reasons. Wanting to change yourself to become a more kind and open-hearted person, that's a wonderful reason to want to change. However, wanting to change who you are in order to get that guy or girl to like you, we are not here to do that. And you have to ask yourself, why are you so unhappy with who you are? Is it because you recognize that you have character flaws and you know you can be a better person and you really want to change who you are to be a better person for other people? Or is it because other people don't really like you that much and you believe that in order to like yourself, you have to get other people to like you? But let's go over both scenarios, okay? If you're unhappy with who you are because other people don't accept the person that you are, then that is a valid reason to be unhappy. It is a normal human thing to need social acceptance. We need to feel like we belong to something. We need to feel like we have some form of connection. However, the problem is not that these other people do not accept you. The problem is that you do not accept yourself. You carry this belief that you couldn't possibly be happy with yourself until everybody else likes you. But the reality is not everybody is going to. Shoot, I know several people who don't like me, but I'm still happy with myself regardless. And the more that you give people the authority to dictate whether you're happy with yourself or not, is the more that you give power to them. But once you realize that your acceptance matters most over anybody else's acceptance of yourself, that is when you're going to be set free. You'll see that you can truly be happy without other people accepting you, because you'll realize that you don't need their acceptance in order to be happy. You'll realize that your acceptance can actually make you happier than anything. And I want you to understand that you could live a life where every single person on earth were to love you and to accept you, but if you could not love or accept yourself, you would still be miserable. And this is why we have to bring our happiness back into our own hands, because no one can really take that away from us. And we'll realize that we don't have to go looking and searching in other people to find it. Now, if you want to change yourself because you recognize that you have certain flaws and you want to become a better person, A+ for self-awareness. However, it's important not to get down on yourself during your transformation, because it's really easy to start tearing yourself apart and beating yourself up if you're not exactly where you want to be, or if you start to make mistakes, or if you start to have setbacks or revert back to your old ways. And I want you to realize that when we've been operating from an unhealed place for a very long time, it's going to take time to make that shift. It's going to take time to integrate these new behaviors and these new patterns and these new healed mindsets. And I want you to realize that setbacks and mistakes are just going to be part of the journey in your transformation. And as long as you're making some form of effort to be better, then that's all that matters. The setbacks don't matter that much. The mistakes don't matter that much, as long as you learn from them and strive to be better. And it's important to be gentle with yourself and not tear yourself apart, and realize that you want to change. And you wanting to change in the first place, that deserves a round of applause to begin with. Come on now, come on! Because all you and any of us can do is to just strive to be better people than we were yesterday. And as long as you're making some effort, then your best is just enough. I want to leave you with this. Something that I realize is that we're going to remain this version of ourselves until we learn all the lessons that we need to learn from this chapter of our lives before we progress on to the next version of ourselves. For the longest time, I was in such a rush to keep growing, to keep expanding, to keep ascending, to keep leveling up without limits. But something I mentioned earlier is that sometimes things are just going to be slow for a little while until you learn all the lessons that you need to learn from that chapter of your life. But in order to have a better relationship with yourself, you have to learn to appreciate and accept the phases and stages of your life and see how you can make the most out of each and every one and accept yourself right where you are. And the thing is, we can change at any time that we want to, but the key is to slow down and appreciate each phase and give yourself love exactly where you are, and realize that you can love yourself today. You don't have to wait until the future to love yourself. Self-love starts today. And you don't have to wait till the future to start accepting yourself, to start valuing who you are. You can start right here and right now. And that's what I'm talking about. But self-love is a quest. It's a never-ending journey that we must go on in order to have happier and healthier lives. So allow me to take this journey with you and allow me to be your guide along the way. And we will learn to love ourselves together, day by day, little by little, and piece by piece. But thank you guys so much for watching this video today. If it inspired you, please press the thumbs up button and the subscribe button down below. It really helps the algorithm. It really helps people learn how to love themselves better if they know that this content exists. And if you really want to spread the love today, please share this video with a friend, whoever might need to hear it today. The more ears, the more eyes, the better. But just know that acceptance starts now. Love starts now. Peace starts now. Everything can happen right here and right now. And you don't have to keep waiting for one day when that one day might never come. So today is the day that you can start to accept where you are and who you are. But just remember that I believe in you, but I just want you to believe in yourself. I will see you next time.